Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today we have a double header, and it's going to be an early impression video of Arabian Ouds, Blue Oud, which people have been actually asking for this for a while, and now I've got a little decant thanks to a friend. You know who you are. I believe Polo sent me this, so thank you, Polo. This is actually the third time that I've worn this, and so I've had a chance to give it multiple wears. I've worn it to bed multiple times, sprayed it on when I got home, because I have a very special announcement. The reason I felt comfortable spraying this on, even after wearing a scent of the day in the middle of the day like this, usually I wait until the end of the day, but my scent of the day was Russian Adam's new History of Oud collection, and it was Chinese oud, and I wore this to work today. And the reason I did is because tomorrow we have a very special announcement. I made it on my YouTube channel, but actually the announcement is Russian Adam will be joining us for a very special live stream. And he is going to join us for a couple hours tomorrow, May the 26th, Friday, May 26th, here in the United States, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I hope everyone can join it. Get your questions ready. It is an absolute joy and honor and pleasure to have Adam on. It'll be the fourth time he's coming on my channel, and every time is an absolute blast. He is just full of so much information. He's always open to share. I can't wait to pick his brain on the History of Oud collection. And actually, I got about 10 minutes into this video the first time, and I had to stop because one of the bottles has the name of the person engraved on the back. And I didn't realize it didn't just say his first name, it also said his last name. And I showed the camera and I was like, you know what? I can't do that. That's not fair to him. If he didn't want this to be, aired with his full name, so I had to stop everything that I did and start again. So this time, basically, before we got started into the Arabian Oud Blue Oud, the Arabian Oud Blue Oud early impression video, we have an unboxing, just real quick. And these are from Hari. So he did say it was okay for me to say, that they're from him. And so thank you, Hari. It's very, very kind of you to sort of send me these. And some of these I purchased from him. Some of them he kind of threw in as a thank you. And one of the thank yous that he threw in, and I actually unboxed it the first time around, but that's not where the problem ended up coming in. It ended up coming in once we got to the Guerlain, which I'll make sure I put my hand over his name and cover the bottom so you can't see through the glass. But he sent me this. So this is a vintage, let me grab the box again. I actually opened it up, but it was a vintage Polo green, Cosmair Polo green. And believe it or not, as many Polo greens as I have, and I think I've got one Warner and two Cosmair bottles. So I've never held the box. I've never actually had one that came with a Cosmair box. So this was kind of cool to see. At first I had to make sure, like, is this actually a Cosmair? And sure enough, it was. It was a Cosmair box right here. And so this is a 59 mil bottle. And just, man, I'll tell you what, Polo green. Oh, it could be a signature scent for me. I absolutely love Polo green. Smells like what a man should smell like to me. Pine, tobacco, leather. Oh, it's so unbelievable. What a creation. Carlos Benaim's masterpiece, in my opinion. Polo green. And then I unboxed this, the soap. And this is Cosmair soap. How outrageous is this? I probably won't open this just because I don't wear Polo green enough back to back to make the soap worthwhile. If I got water on this, if I got water on the soap, the bar would start to sort of melt with the water, and then I'd be wearing other fragrances and it would go to waste. So I'm going to save this as like a collector's item, I think. And then I unboxed this, which was Enchanted Forest. And this is a long-lost Bertrand Duchaufour creation, which is, I think they say it's still available for purchase, but I thought this might have been discontinued. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know how much is left in this. That's the other thing. It's hard to tell. I don't know if there's 5 mil, 10 mil, 20 mil, 1 mil. I have no clue. But it's It's a fruity green scent that's almost like the king of blackcurrant. This has blackcurrant leaf, blackcurrant blossom, blackcurrant bud, hawthorn, rosemary, wine, aldehydes, rum, divana. It's a Bertrand Duchefort, so you know the divana notes hidden in there. Orange, pink pepper, carnation, coriander seed, honeysuckle, rose, vetiver, fir balsam, oak moss, opopanax, patchouli, amber, benzoin, castoreum, cedar, musk, and vanilla. Hell of a breakdown. And hell of a summer fragrance, I'll tell you that. And beautiful bottle. This bottle is super heavy. I love the moon right here with the flowers. You know, the I don't know if that's supposed to be like a wave or, but yeah, I love it. It almost looks like a hand-painted bottle. I like it. It's good stuff. The cap is very heavy. Good bottle. So yes, hopefully there's enough for me to kind of wear and do a full review for you guys one of these days. And then this is the one I got to be careful on because I took it out and realized that it had his name engraved on it, and it wasn't fair to him to show his full name. So let me make sure I cover this up pretty good before I show you again, because I am not starting this video a third time, damn it. But this is Rose Cherie. So behind here is his name imprinted on the back. Behind the, there's a little B on the back. But I did mention when I pulled this out that this little top, I haven't held one of these newer bottles in my hand. The full bottle, I have a mini, but it doesn't really do it justice. I still like the, older Guerlain bottle styles better than this, but this little top piece right here is leather, and I think that's a nice little touch. That's an interesting little touch. You got to give them that. I still don't like this bottle as much as the older bottles, but I like the little leather on top. That's a nice touch. And Rose Cherie is a unisex rose fragrance that has Damask Rose Absolute, Damask Rose Water with raspberry, Rose Centrifolia Absolute, violet, and almond. And so it has that Guerlain DNA because of that almond. You know, you think about Dior Homme. This is supposed to be a creamy, floral, powdery rose fragrance. So yes, Rose Cherie. I'm just going to put this bottle away so I don't show his name again because I'm not doing this a third time. And then, one thing I did mention is that there are 3 parts to Hari's haul. This is only one. Only one package arrived. There's still 3 other packages arriving. And I know I said that we were going to be doing the last of the hauls. And so there's Hari's haul. And then there is a haul coming from another friend, Cullen, and then that's pretty much it. We're pretty much done with the hauls. I'm gonna be taking a step back and trying to enjoy what I have, or at least that's the plan. Unless something outrageous falls in my lap at a great price, that is the plan, to take a step back and enjoy what I have. Okay, so this is a fragrance that I actually know nothing about. I've got to look this up. What are you? This is Arabian Oud Resala. Wow, how's that for almost like it was meant to be? So this is an Arabian Oud. So that's actually what Arabian Oud symbol looks like. So whenever we're reviewing Blue Oud today, I can show you the symbol. That's what it looks like. That's the Arabian Oud symbol. This is a cool little cap. I like the feather. Let me look up this Resala. Let's see. So, Arabian Oud Resala. Saffron, rose, vanilla, oud, and chocolate. It is an oriental fragrance, obviously. And very interesting. I like this. Almost like a little, like an old school quill. Like you're gonna write an old school letter, dip it in some ink. Interesting. Thanks for that, Hari. I'll have to get to know this. This will be fun to get to know. This Arabian Oud will be fun to get to know and do a video on. More Arabian Oud content to come. It was meant to be. And finally, the last one in this package. And this, get out here. So this is a Daniel Josier fragrance. Are you guys familiar with this house? Daniel Josier. I actually don't own any from the house, but I've heard of it. So this is Daniel Josier, and this is called Ambre Tabac. Ambre Tabac. So Ambre Tabac, according to Parfumo, is African frankincense with bergamot, patchouli, sandalwood, tobacco, amber, and vanilla. And I am a sucker for tobacco. Sometimes it's just the way that it's blended that make it a little harder for me to appreciate. And this is compared to Parfums de Marly's Wajan. I've never smelled Wajan, but I can smell sort of the sweet vanilla aspect. But I might like this. You never know. You never know at all. I'm a big tobacco lover, and so I will give Ambre Tabac a chance. I think it's got a little bit of Ambre Narguilé in it, so that'll be a fun one. That'll be a fun one to get to know for sure. All right, awesome. So that is the haul. Polo Green, Enchanted Forest, Rose Cherie, Resala by Arabian Oud, and then Daniel Josier's Ambre Tabac. So that's a great first part 1 of 3 from Hari. Cannot wait to get the next couple boxes. They should be here in the next week or so, and then that'll be the end of the Hari hauls for a little while I get to know some of this stuff, because he sent me a lot to digest. Okay, so let's get talking about Arabian Ouds, Blue Oud. So again, I've worn this to bed 2 times, and this is actually the 3rd time I've applied it. So I feel like I'm getting to know the scent pretty well. And the profile, if you're an oud lover, whenever you spray this, it will instantly put a smile on your face if you're an oud lover, just out and out, because it opens up with, to me, what Arabian Oud calls this blue musk, which I can't really say exactly what blue musk is. I'm guessing that it's some sort of like white musk is a synthetic musk. I'm guessing blue musk is a type of musk. I'm not 100% sure. I can tell you the very first time that I sprayed Arabian Oud's Blue Oud, I was reminded a little bit of this, Bvlgari's Falkar, and also this. This is Mukhallat al-Shams by Ajmal. And these are both basically oud musk fragrances. Okay, they're both oud musks to my nose. And this one actually has black musk listed. And again, I don't know what black musk is. I don't know what blue musk is. But all I know is when you first spray this, I can tell you that you're going to get a musk oud combo straight out of the gate. And when I saw the name Blue Oud, the first thing that I thought of was, oh no, is this going to be sort of like a blue fragrance with oud? Because I was hoping it was not going to be Sauvage with oud. And luckily, to my very pleasant surprise, Arabian Oud's Blue Oud has nothing to do with the blue in blue fragrances. So, you know, if you're worried that you're going to get a big ambroxan bomb in oud, you're not. So Arabian Oud's Blue Oud is not Dior Sauvage. It's not Bleu de Chanel. It's not Roja's Elysium. It's none of those, okay? It's just the name Blue Oud. And apparently Blue Oud is named after the legendary Blue Oud wood chips used in Arabian incense customs, which I can't say I'm very familiar with. I would love to actually burn some oud sometime with somebody who really knows what they're doing. I think that would be a lot of fun. And so I knew nothing about this. So the very first time that I sprayed this, I almost have no experience with the House of Arabian Oud. I actually only have one Arabian Oud fragrance, and the name eludes me right now. I think it's called Cashmere. Let me see. Yes, it's called Cashmere. So I have a 10 ml decant of Cashmere, which I think is still available to purchase. I'm not 100% sure. That's sort of like a fresh oud fragrance, and it reminds me a little bit of Areej Dore's Aquilaria Blossom, but Aquilaria Blossom is even better. Like, if you were going to get a fresh oud fragrance, I would buy Areej Dore's Aquilaria Blossom over Arabian Oud Cashmere any day of the week. So that's all I knew about the house, is this sort of fresh oud, not the more animalic ouds that I like, you know, with the barnyard, the fertilizer chips. I haven't smelled anything from Arabian Oud of that quality until now. That's basically what this is. So when you first spray, the very first thing that's going to greet you is that oud. So it's oud and it's musk to me. Those are the two main accords. And the Parfumo website, which I like to go off of, actually shows the top is Cambodian oud, the heart as blue musk, and the base as Indian oud. But the opening does have that Indian oud animalicness, but just because it's animalic in the top does not mean it's Indian oud first. Because if you've sprayed these history of oud fragrances from Russian Atom, you'll know Cambodian oud can also have that sort of animalic facet to it. The Cambodian oud that you're going to smell in the history of Cambodian oud gives you some of that animalic facet. It is more smoky and it's darker, let's say, but it doesn't have to be Indian oud in the top that gives this sort of barnyard animalic facet. But it does smell like you're getting this maybe blend of Cambodian and Indian oud in the top. And it basically comes across as very quality. That's the first thing that came to mind when I smelled this, is I thought, wow, this is a quality oud. There's no doubt about it. And mind you, when I first smelled this, I had no idea what the price was. I didn't look it up yet. Now I know what it is, but I had no idea what the price was when I first smelled it. And I was just kind of making notes. And so I made notes that instantly you will recognize the quality of the oud here. No doubt about it, hands down. It is slightly animalic, and there's a slight fertilizer-like smell. You know, if you've ever walked by a garden that they've put fresh fertilizer down, and you know, like, if I like to run around, we have a park in our neighborhood, and I sort of run around it, because around the park is almost exactly a quarter of a mile, so I know if I go 4 times, about a mile. And so, but when I run by, sometimes they have this flower garden in the middle, and when I run by it, sometimes when they put fresh fertilizer, excuse me, I can smell it, you know, when you sort of come by, your nose just picks up on that, right? And that's a little bit of the animalic facet here, but it's also blended with this slight bit of sweetness, okay? Not too much, just a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of designer sweetness. So, whereas when you smell stuff like this from Russian Atom, there is none of that, zero of the sort of designer materials that give that sweetness smell to my nose. I don't get any. But smelling this, and remember, when you're smelling these history of ouds, I'm only comparing it to this because it's on my hand. And by the way, it was, if I didn't show you guys, it was the history of Chinese oud, which tomorrow when we talk to Russian Atom, I'm going to tell them which one my favorite is. And the history of Chinese oud is definitely in contention for the top spot. But, you know, whenever I smell Russian Atom's work, at this level, it's just supposed to give you the oud. This is an entire composition built around it. And so what ends up coming to the forefront after 15 to 20 minutes is the oud starts to slightly, not take a back seat necessarily, but it starts to move a little bit into the background, and it allows that more modern, sweeter musk. And maybe that's what blue musk is. Maybe blue musk is a musk that has a slightly sweetened aspect, because there is a little bit of a sweetness to this fragrance. And it just sort of rounds everything off, you know, because at first, to people who love oud fragrances, when you first spray this, you will not be put off by it, okay? You're going to get a little bit of animalics, all right, but it's going to be very easy for you to stand there and smell it and take it. for somebody new, if you've never smelled anything like some of the fragrances I mentioned earlier, if you've never smelled Mukhallat Al Shams, if you've never smelled Frederic Maule's The Night, if you've never smelled Louis Vuitton's Pour Oud, which I never have, but I know it's in this ballpark, if you've never smelled Falkar, if you've never smelled some of these Russian Atom creations, or Bortnikov's Oud Maximus, or if you've never smelled any of that, this might put you off. If this is your first oud fragrance, your first real oud fragrance, not the Western ouds, let's say, but your first real oud fragrance, this might put you off in the beginning. But to me, it's a very wearable oud fragrance, because even though, you know, you're going to get some of that animalic bit in the very beginning, it very quickly starts to round everything off. And what it uses to round everything off is that blue musk note to me. The musk plays a very big part, but to my nose, even though it's not listed in the note listing, you will get a little bit of this slightly rose-like smell, okay, just a little bit. As the fragrance continues to dry, this rose note starts to sort of make an appearance. And in the first hour or so of the fragrance, it's extremely light, but it's there. The rose note is there. And it retreats into the background. The rose note does retreat. The oud never retreats. The oud never truly retreats into the background. It maybe steps aside for a second and lets the musk take the center stage for just a little while, you know, along with this, you know, fruity, floral-like aspect of the oud. Maybe a little bit of rose and patchouli or something like that. But the oud never retreats. The rose retreats to me. The rose sort of retreats into the background, and it ends up being part of that blend, like I said earlier. So how everything sort of blends together, the rose allows itself to sort of be blended into the composition, and you know, you end up with this sort of very light, soft, floral blossom bouquet is basically what you get. But you're still getting some of that animalic oud. It never truly goes away, actually ever, throughout the whole life of the fragrance. That animalic, distinctive mixture of Cambodian oud and Indian oud really feels like they interplay off of each other throughout the life of the scent, to me, to my nose. But they say Cambodian oud in the top, and they say Indian oud in the base. So just sort of FYI there. But you know, you're going to instantly recognize the quality, and you're going to get slight aspects of this smoky incense, okay? So this very smoky incense while also being woody and maybe even slightly leathery, okay? And I'm not sure where that comes from, because there is no leather notes listed. There's no castoreum, although there may be a slight bit of castoreum in here. I wouldn't be surprised if there was just a little hint of castoreum added to sort of, you know, to me, when you're creating an oud composition, sometimes you need a little bit of that leatheriness. Now, the other thing is, it may be coming from the Cambodian oud. Sometimes Cambodian oud can come across as slightly leathery, slightly smoky, animalic, like I said earlier. And so it could be that the that leathery aspect comes from the oud itself, but I'm just not well enough trained in the oud detection to really know, you know, if I'm smelling something from the oud or not. But especially in a composition, sometimes that can be hard. But as the oud continues to dry, interestingly enough, so what ends up happening with this fragrance and what makes this so interesting to me is, here, let me just take a sip real quick. Cheers. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. Okay, so the process of this fragrance sort of works in reverse. And if you go look at the Arabian Oud website, you'll see this, you'll see the bottle. If you look up blue oud, and you'll see it sort of blue on the top, and then it gradually changes into this yellow on the bottom. And the bottle sort of got me thinking. I was thinking about this gradual change. And it almost works in reverse to what you normally smell in a fragrance. So normally you get citruses in the top. You get the yellow in the top, not the bottom, right? But in the beginning, what greets you is this Cambodian oud in the opening. And then you catch other facets as if you're paying attention. Just, if you look at the bottle, the yellow citrusy looking bottle, part of the bottle is actually on the bottom. And I think that's a great sort of metaphor for how the fragrance feels to me. Like some of the lighter sort of runway notes that are usually used to greet the rest of the notes in the perfume are almost hidden under a layer of that blue oud. And the blue oud sort of literally feels like a layer on top of it, and you're diving into the layer. And as you dive deeper, it slowly begins to give way to those musky, citrusy, floral, maybe slightly spicy, slightly fruity notes. And for me, I would have no problem wearing this out and about. None. Personally, I would have no problem wearing this because the Arabian Oud website says there's a little bit of vanilla in the base, and I get that. I definitely get this softer quality that continues to erode the oud in the top, if you will. And, the first 30 minutes, 45 minutes are where you're going to get the most animalic oud smell, and then it just slowly continues to sort of blend easier and easier into the fragrance. And, this is a very wearable fragrance to me, personally. I would have no problem wearing this. So, let's talk about price, because there's only one way to buy this on the Arabian Oud website, and that is the Blue Oud gift set right now. And it comes with 100 mils of Blue Oud and 22 mils in eau de parfum. And it comes with 22 mils of what they call the pure perfume oil. So you're supposed to sort of put the pure oil on and then spray the perfume on top. And that is $400 US. Now, this set can be had for about $225 to $250 if you look around at discounters or stuff like that. But I will tell you that this is one of the most expensive Arabian ouds. Okay, there is another Arabian oud which is a little bit more expensive. I think it's like $700 or something. But this is one of the more expensive Arabian Oud fragrances, and it feels that way to me. It really feels like I can detect the quality of the ingredients. I can, all of that stuff. Is it worth $400 to me? No, and I'll tell you why. The reason why is I got this for $30 from a friend. This is Mukhallat al-Shams. And to me, while obviously they're not exactly the same, Ajmal uses real oud. They're a brand that, I've come to really respect as time has gone on. Russian Adam sort of introduced me to Ajmal. Excuse me. And ever since I really sort of dived into the brand, he sent me 1001 Nights, which I absolutely loved. It's up here somewhere. And I bought this off of a friend. And, with how little money I got this, and I would hold this in probably the same level as this. Okay? This is just my opinion. This is also a musky oud to my nose. It also starts off animalic to my nose. And there's also a little bit of sweetness that starts to come in to my nose as time goes on. So for me, in my collection and where I'm at, and that's what this video and that's what this channel is about, me and my collection, and where I'm at and documenting my journey, this would be I wouldn't buy this. Not for $400, not for $250. If a bottle fell in my lap for $100, would I go for it? Maybe. But, I'm a little bit spoiled, let's say. But because of the wealth of options I already have in the oud game, I would probably say this is an awesome video to do for you guys, to say, don't be scared of this, that it is quality. If you're looking for a good oud scent, it's something you can go for. But when we compare it, $400, you're talking Bortnikov money, you're talking Areej Dore money, and it just doesn't, it's not going to compete with that. But as a composition, as a fragrance composition, competing with something like Ajmal, it is very good. Blue Oud is very good. they did a good job with this. Shout out to Arabian Oud for that. And Arabian Oud apparently is a Saudi house, and so they're a house I need to dive more into. Obviously, I'm going to dive more into with stuff like this. Apparently, this is one of their best sellers. I'm not very familiar with it, but yes, this will be fun to sort of dive into this house further and see what else they have to offer. It's been a blast getting to know this. Thank you, Polo, for sending it my way. If you have experience with Blue Oud by Arabian Oud, do let me know. Let me know what your favorite from the unboxing was today. And I really hope you guys can tune in to the Russian Adam live stream tomorrow. That should be absolutely amazing. I can't wait to chat with him tomorrow. It'll be an absolute blast. I'm going to wear probably the Kinam perfume that he created tomorrow as my scent of the day. And so yeah, it should be great time. So thanks everyone for watching. Cheers. Look forward to seeing you in the comments, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye guys.